All right, so if you have a Nissan Versa, this is first generation, this is a 2008, you're replacing the O2 sensor, well, at least upstream, you got this little guy right here on it. And you'll notice, at least if you're like me, your socket won't fit in it. So let's modify our socket. Also, while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and do the O2 sensor, not just modify our socket. So it's actually, honestly, not that hard to do. It looks very difficult, especially when you realize it's sort of under that intake manifold right there. The intake manifold is sort of oddly shaped. The exhaust manifold is behind everything, and you sort of look intimidated, but it's honestly not that hard to do. This job really isn't going to take you very long. Modifying the socket is honestly the hardest part of this. So what I am going to do first is I'm going to take the battery out. After I take the battery out, I'm going to remove this elbow here and the air box itself. Now, in order to do all that, there's really, what, 2 bolts on the air cleaner, 2 on the battery, and 3 connections. There's a vacuum line sort of underneath everything. We'll go through all that. It's honestly super easy to do. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is take the battery off. My particular battery, these are 10 millimeters. So go ahead and take these off. These 2 10 millimeters. There's one. There's 2. Battery is out and corroded. Up and away. Battery's out. So after the battery, we got 2 bolts on the air box. There's 2 of them. There's one here. These are 8 millimeters. Don't ever unloosen them all the way to, leave some slack in them. Don't ever loosen them all the way. Like I said, 2 8 millimeters. There's not much to them. Go ahead and take them out. And let's go ahead. There's a clip right here, a sensor. We're going to go ahead and disconnect it. There's that. That was fairly easy. We have 1 clamp right here. We're going to unclamp it. A pair of pliers. I may not edit this. I may do all this live just to show you how quick and easy this actually is. Take this out. Take the air box out. There we go. All right, there's 1 vacuum line. Let me show it to you. Hopefully it picks up. Okay, so this may just be my particular model. It's a 4-speed automatic. But here's our air box itself right here. I'm not sure if that is or is not picking up. My hand is on the line. It's all the way down here. It's got like a weird elbow to it. You'll see it when I pull it all the way out. Ta-da! Let me set it down for you. See how it's got that weird elbow to it? You just sort of follow this line all the way down and it connects. There's no clip. So, as I break stuff, that's all done. Now, the O2 sensor itself, I'm not sure if I'm even going to be able to show it to you because it's so far back in here. All right, so here's our clip for the O2 sensor. I'm going to leave it plugged up currently. That way we can follow the line. See if I can get this in here. I'm not sure that I can. Follow. All right, you see it right there? That's it. All right, and you see that hateful ring that's on it as well. So let's go show you what we're gonna do with that. All right, take your grinder. grind it off a little bit. Okay, so here is my socket that I have grinded and modified. I definitely tapered it a good bit so it can shove into that sort of circle around the O2 sensor. So it can go in there, and I suggest going with a socket type as this. Now, you may be able to buy a thinner one. This is the best method that I've found, is to get one and sort of modify it yourself, grind it off. Now, once it sits in there, I really don't think I'm gonna be able to show you how to get it off. I'm gonna put it on here and show you what it looks like on there. I've got about 18 inches of extension here, and it doesn't hurt to have that much. So let me get this crammed into the O2 sensor, and you'll be able to see where everything is, and then I'm gonna have to get it out sort of off camera because you're not gonna be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so here is my extension. I didn't change the extension at all. It's exactly how it is. Running two, I'm not even sure if it's picking up or isn't picking up, the O2 sensor right there, sort of at the end of my finger. Go ahead, lefty loosey, righty tighty this joker, and it's gonna come off there. It is in there, it is set. I have double checked it, sort of twisted on it myself already. So everything's in there, everything's set, it's ready to come out. Be sure you unplug it. I don't think I showed it being unplugged. Where we showed that connection, you know what, hold on one second. All right, I plugged it in for good measure so you can see me unplug it. Really simple, really easy. Squeeze down your little tab here. This was easier just a second ago off camera. Of course it was. Go ahead, ta-da, unplug it. Now untwist it. Don't twist this joker off of here when it's plugged up. You're liable to hurt yourself. Socket's on, everything's on. We're gonna go ahead and take everything out now. All right, guys, said prove it. Old one, new one, greatly modified socket. All right, so everything is back on here. I'm going to time lapse, getting it off an angle. Time lapse, go now. Alright, so all in all, this entire process took about 20 minutes, including grinding that socket. Without grinding the socket, this process would have probably taken not even 10 minutes. So it's really not that hard. It looks very complicated, especially when you see that that O2 sensor is down there, sort of up and under things. It looks very complicated, but in all honesty, ooh, I missed a connection, dang. I sure did. Man, I'm letting the people down. Oh well, I didn't connect that on the time lapse. In any case, it's really not that hard. You know, just be sure you get all your connections back together, and it's all good. I forgot that one on the time lapse. Not sure if anybody would have picked up on that had I not called myself out on it. But it's like I said, it's really not that hard. We're looking at, like I said, 7 to 10 minutes without grinding that socket.
other than that, it's really just not that hard. Fairly easy. Anyone can do it. Be sure that the engine is not hot. I know that's the intake manifold, but it's not hot right now. It's a little warm, but it's not hot. So if it's cold, run it for about a minute. If you just got done driving it, let it sit for a while, like an hour and a half or so. And then, you know, get ready to do it. But other than that, that's it. That is changing an O2 sensor in an 08 Nissan Versa. Hope it helps. Thank you much. All right, 2 things before I go. As I send off, I did connect it, as you see. Also, the line. It's right kind of beside the battery. It is not a vacuum line. It is a ventilation line, so it only hooks up on one side. You don't have to hook up the other side. You only hook up one side. All right, other than that, we did it, yay!